There is a law at work in your life that you cannot see, yet it shapes every conversation you have, every door that opens, and every path that seems to appear by coincidence. It is the silent current that determines who you meet, who you connect with, and who remains a stranger. Napoleon Hill understood this truth when he wrote of the power of the mastermind, when he declared that two minds in harmony create a third, invisible force capable of moving mountains. But here lies the hidden key. You cannot attract powerful allies. You cannot draw high-energy people into your orbit if the frequency of your own spirit is dim, hesitant, or weighed down by fear. Look back at history, and you will see that greatness is never a solo act. Edison had his laboratory of dreamers and tinkerers. Henry Ford surrounded himself with men of vision who refused to bend under doubt. Walt Disney did not create an empire on imagination alone. He built it brick by brick with people who believed so deeply in his dream that they worked for little more than the chance to be part of it. These men attracted high-energy people, not by luck, not by charm, but by the magnetic force of a burning purpose. Energy is contagious. Walk into a room filled with cynics, and you will feel your heart grow heavier, your own ideas shrink. Walk into a room charged with visionaries, and suddenly your chest expands, your mind races, your spirit leaps into possibility. High-energy people are like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. They lift you higher simply by being near them. But here's the question you must ask yourself. Would a high-energy person be drawn to you right now? Would a visionary, a dreamer, a builder of empires feel compelled to stand shoulder to shoulder with you? This is not a matter of pretending, of putting on a smile or rehearsing positive phrases. It is about the inner fire you carry, the faith that vibrates in your words, the discipline carved into your daily actions. High-energy people are not fooled by appearances. They are drawn to authentic strength, to conviction, to a spirit that refuses to compromise with mediocrity. If you desire to attract these forces into your life, you must first become what you seek. A man who lives in fear cannot draw the fearless. A woman who doubts her worth cannot call forth the confident. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, the ability to declare with certainty, "This is who I am, this is where I am going, and nothing can shake me." When you speak from that place of unshakable purpose, you become magnetic. You stop chasing, and people begin to come to you. Think of Abraham Lincoln, walking alone through the storms of a divided nation. His presence carried a stillness, a dignity, a moral gravity that drew high-energy allies into his circle. Men who would die for his vision, who would endure unimaginable suffering because they felt the fire of his cause burning inside themselves. He did not attract them by wealth or status. He attracted them by being rooted in truth, by radiating a strength that refused to bow. This is the secret. You are not just seeking high-energy people. You are building a sanctuary for them. Your habits, your words, your thoughts, they either create an environment where greatness thrives or a swamp where it drowns. What music plays in your mind each morning? What words do you allow to live in your mouth? Are you building a palace of discipline and clarity within, or are you cluttering your inner temple with doubts and distractions? Because like attracts like, you cannot call for eagles while you nest among pigeons. You cannot demand loyalty and courage while you indulge in gossip and weakness. High-energy people are guardians of their own frequency. They guard their minds as kings guard their crowns. They will not stay where energy leaks, where negativity poisons the air, where vision is small and faith is absent. And yet, the opposite is also true. When you rise, when you carry yourself as one who expects greatness, when you stand like a tower rooted in purpose, you will find yourself surrounded. Doors open without knocking. Allies appear without searching. Resources, opportunities, and connections arrive as if commanded by some invisible hand. This is not accident, it is alignment. Every great empire in history was born from such alignment. The founding fathers of America did not meet by chance. They were drawn together by a collective flame of liberty that burned too bright to be ignored. Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, built his fortune not by swinging hammers, but by uniting men of intelligence, vision, and courage around him. He said it himself, teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. If you want high-energy people in your life, look not outward first, but inward. The question is not, where are they? The question is, who am I becoming that they would want to walk beside me? You cannot expect kings and queens to sit at your table if you are still feeding yourself on scraps of doubt. The high-energy people you seek are not saviors, they are amplifiers. They do not rescue the unprepared, they elevate those already standing on their own 2 feet. When you cultivate discipline, when your habits are sharp and your mind is clear, they see themselves reflected in you. They recognize their own vibration in your stride, and they come closer, not because you asked, but because energy meets its equal. Discipline is the language of high-energy people. They understand sacrifice. They understand delay of gratification. They understand rising while the rest of the world sleeps. Show me your habits, and I will show you the quality of people who will surround you. A man who wakes with purpose, who structures his days with intention, who guards his time as sacred, this man becomes a beacon for others of the same nature. And a woman who speaks with clarity, who refuses the poison of gossip, who builds her days with order and faith, this woman draws builders, creators, leaders into her circle. Napoleon Hill wrote that. Your only real limitation is the one you set up in your own mind. If your mind is scattered, if your purpose shifts with the wind, you cannot expect to hold the attention of those whose lives burn with intensity. But when your mind is a fortress, when your vision is carved into stone, you emit a frequency of certainty that others cannot ignore. Imagine for a moment 2 fires in the night. One is a small flickering flame gasping for survival. The other is a roaring blaze, seen from miles away, warming everything in its reach. Which fire will draw travelers, seekers, and allies to its side? The answer is obvious, and yet too many people live like the flicker, waiting, hoping, envying, but never building the inner blaze that calls forth greatness. The truth is, you are either an energy giver or an energy taker. High-energy people instinctively know the difference. They can feel when someone walks into a room, whether that person is adding to the light or draining it. If you live with bitterness, if your words carry complaints, if your eyes are heavy with resentment, you become a thief of energy. And no high-energy person will willingly stay in the presence of such theft. But if your words uplift, if your presence steadies the ground, if your spirit carries possibility, then you become a fountain, and people of power will drink deeply from it. Look at the story of Thomas Edison. Thousands of failures, endless nights of trial and error, ridicule from the world, and yet his laboratory never lacked for high-energy companions. Why? Because his spirit burned too brightly to be extinguished. He believed so fiercely in the unseen light bulb that others, too, began to believe. His laboratory was not just a workplace. It was a sanctuary of high-energy souls, drawn together by one man's unshakable conviction. Or take the life of Henry Ford. Long before the automobile transformed the world, Ford declared his vision of putting the common man on wheels. He was ridiculed, mocked, told it was impossible. Yet high-energy minds rallied to him. Engineers, designers, mechanics, they were magnetized not by his money, but by the certainty of his vision. And together, they reshaped history. This is how it works. Vision creates vibration, vibration creates magnetism, and magnetism attracts the people you need. It does not begin with searching, it begins with becoming. But beware of this truth when you elevate your frequency, when you discipline your mind, when you refuse to bend to mediocrity. You will not only attract high-energy people, you will also repel the low-energy ones. Some will fall away. Old friends, old habits, old voices will no longer feel at home with you. Do not grieve their departure. The farmer does not weep when weeds die. He knows they were stealing nourishment from the crop. Your energy is sacred ground. Guard it as you would guard a treasure chest of gold. What you allow into your mind, what you permit into your daily circle, will shape your destiny more than any external circumstance. Napoleon Hill called it the law of harmonious vibration. The principle that the thoughts you hold and the energy you radiate determine the quality of people and circumstances that enter your life. So I ask you, are you vibrating with clarity or confusion? Are you radiating strength or weakness? Do you walk as one who expects greatness or as one who merely wishes for it? The world does not respond to wishes. The world responds to certainty, and certainty is not born of luck. It is carved into your bones by daily choices. Rise early when the air is pure and your mind is unclouded. Speak words that align with your vision, not words that betray it. Feed your body and your spirit with strength, not poison. Refuse to give your attention to things that steal your fire. Do this long enough and your energy changes. And when your energy changes, your circle changes. And when your circle changes, your life changes. High energy people are searching for you right now. They are not looking for perfection. They are not looking for wealth or fame. They are looking for alignment, for a soul that burns with conviction, for a partner in vision, for an ally in the pursuit of greatness. Will they find you ready? Clarity is the magnet of destiny. Without clarity, energy scatters. Without clarity, even the most disciplined mind wastes its fire chasing shadows. High energy people are drawn to clarity because it speaks of leadership, of direction, of certainty. They do not want to follow someone wandering through fog. They want to join forces with one who can see the mountaintop even when others see only the valley. Think of the great explorers. Columbus did not gather sailors by saying, "We might drift somewhere." He declared with conviction that he would find new lands across the ocean. Shackleton, the polar adventurer, recruited men for the most dangerous journey with a simple, brutally clear advertisement: men wanted for hazardous journey. Low wages, bitter cold, long hours of complete darkness, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success, and yet men lined up in droves. Why? Because his clarity lit a fire in their chests. His words carried the force of a leader who knew exactly what he was about. The world is starving for clarity. Most people live in confusion, chasing distractions, pulled by every new trend, enslaved by every new fear. They cannot hold a vision steady in their minds long enough for it to take root. That is why, when you cultivate clarity, you stand out like a lighthouse in a storm. High-energy people see you from miles away, and they are drawn not by accident, but by recognition. They recognize in you the rare gift of a steady flame. But clarity alone is not enough. Vision must be married to purpose. A clear direction without a burning why is a map without fuel. It shows the way, but it cannot take you there. Napoleon Hill said it again and again: definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Not vague wishes, not scattered desires, but a definite, burning, all-consuming aim. When Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of his age, was asked the secret to his success, he did not speak of steel mills or fortune. He said simply, "The first man gets the oyster, the second man gets the shell." Meaning the man of clear, definite purpose claims the prize, the man of hesitation is left with scraps. Carnegie did not build his empire alone. He attracted men of brilliance, managers, engineers, financiers, because they recognized in him a purpose too powerful to ignore. Purpose is fire. It gives weight to your words. It gives meaning to your suffering. It makes you unshakable in the face of doubt. When you walk with purpose, people feel it before you even speak. They may not understand it. They may not agree with it, but they cannot deny it. Purpose is the invisible current that pulls others into your orbit. Walt Disney once walked through an empty field and declared, "Here will stand a place where families can leave their troubles behind, where imagination will live." To others it was nothing but dirt and weeds, but his clarity and his purpose were so fierce that men and women followed him into the impossible. Today the world still walks in his dream. This is the power of purpose. It outlives the dreamer. High-energy people are not looking for comfort. They are not looking for easy roads. They are looking for purpose worth suffering for. They are looking for visions so grand they stretch the human spirit. They are looking for leaders who will bleed for their dream. If you wish to attract such people, your purpose must be larger than your comfort, larger than your fears, larger than your own life. And when you carry that kind of purpose, something extraordinary happens. You no longer beg for people to join you. They come. They knock on your door. They sacrifice without being asked, because true purpose is irresistible. But purpose is not a speech. It is not something you craft in a moment of inspiration and then abandon when the storm hits. Purpose is proven in the fire. It is demonstrated when everything is stripped from you, and you still rise, when you are laughed at and still move forward, when you are beaten down and still refuse to surrender. High-energy people are drawn to such resilience because they see in it the reflection of their own battle. Look at Lincoln again. His life was littered with defeat, business failures, political losses, heartbreak, depression. But he carried a purpose so sacred, so heavy, that even in his darkest hours he refused to quit. That unwavering spirit drew men of courage, men willing to die on battlefields, men willing to endure years of war because they felt his purpose burning inside their own chests. Clarity, vision, purpose. These are not luxuries. They are survival for the soul that seeks greatness. Without them, you cannot attract high-energy people because they have no reason to align with you. With them, you become unstoppable because the right people will appear at the right time, each carrying a piece of the puzzle, each willing to give their strength to your cause. And here lies the secret most never learns. Attracting high-energy people is not about networking, not about clever words, not about trying to impress. It is about becoming magnetic by living in alignment with your own highest calling. When your energy radiates certainty, clarity, and purpose, the people you seek cannot help but find you. Discipline is the anchor that holds purpose steady. Without discipline, purpose is nothing but firework, brilliant for a moment, but gone by morning. High-energy people do not bind themselves to dreamers who lack discipline because they know that undisciplined vision collapses under its own weight. They look for partners who can endure monotony, who can rise day after day with consistency, who understand that greatness is not built in bursts but in rhythm. Think of the great builders of history. The pyramids were not raised by a single surge of inspiration. They were built stone by stone year after year. Michelangelo did not paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling in one fevered weekend of creativity. He climbed scaffolds for years, brushstroke after brushstroke, disciplined to the end. Thomas Edison tested more than 10,000 filaments before the light bulb was born. It was discipline, not luck, that gave light to the world. Discipline is the daily proof of belief. You can speak of vision, you can preach purpose. But if your actions betray laziness and inconsistency, high-energy people will see through you instantly. They do not follow words, they follow evidence. Show them a man who keeps his promises, who honors his own word, who rises at the same hour with relentless commitment, and they will trust that man. Show them a woman whose actions line up with her convictions, whose life reflects the discipline she demands, and they will walk beside her. Napoleon Hill once declared that self-discipline is the master key to riches. Why? Because discipline transforms thought into action and action into results. It is the bridge between imagination and reality. Without it, no alliance, no mastermind, no circle of high-energy companions can stand. But discipline requires resilience, for the path of greatness is paved with storms. High-energy people are not drawn to those who crumble at the first sign of resistance. They are drawn to the resilient, to the fighters, to the ones who can take the blows of life and still rise stronger. Every empire was forged in adversity. Ford faced bankruptcy 5 times before he succeeded. Disney was fired from his job for lacking imagination before he built a kingdom of it. Lincoln failed in nearly every election before he held the highest office in the land. Their resilience was magnetic. People followed them not because they never fell, but because they always rose. High-energy people do not seek perfection, they seek endurance. They want to know, when the storm hits, will you stand? When the vision seems impossible, will you keep moving? When the world turns its back, will you still march forward? If the answer is yes, you will never walk alone. But to attract such people, you must also guard your energy like sacred treasure. You cannot afford to leak strength through petty distractions, toxic environments, or aimless conversations. High-energy people guard their own energy with ferocity, and they expect you to do the same. If they see you wasting your time, drowning in negativity, or bending to every distraction, they will not invest their light in your darkness. This means you must learn the art of saying no. No to people who drain you. No to commitments that do not serve your purpose. No to environments that dull your fire. Every yes you give to the unworthy steals a yes from your destiny. And destiny demands all of you. Guarding your energy also means choosing what you feed your mind. High-energy people do not flood their minds with poison. They do not dwell on gossip. They do not surrender to fear-driven media. They do not entertain ideas that shrink their spirit. They feed their minds with vision, with knowledge, with faith. When they meet someone who does the same, there is instant recognition. Here is a kindred spirit. Here is someone who understands the sacred duty of protecting the flame. Remember, you are building a sanctuary for greatness. You are creating an atmosphere where high-energy souls can breathe, thrive, and expand. That sanctuary begins within you. If your mind is cluttered, if your habits are chaotic, if your spirit is clouded, then the sanctuary is hostile, and greatness will not remain. But when your inner life is ordered, when your actions reflect your purpose, when your presence radiates strength, you become a sanctuary that draws kings, queens, builders, warriors, and dreamers. Do not mistake this for arrogance. True high-energy people are not arrogant. They are humble in spirit but fierce in action. They recognize their own weaknesses, but they refuse to bow to them. They do not demand perfection from you, but they demand authenticity. They are not looking for someone flawless. They are looking for someone true. And so the question circles back, who are you becoming? Are you becoming the kind of person who would attract the circle you dream of? Or are you still waiting for them to appear before you transform? The law of attraction does not wait on you to be ready. It responds to who you are right now. If you are scattered, you will attract the scattered. If you are bitter, you will attract the bitter. If you are disciplined, resilient, clear, and purposeful, you will attract the same, like calls to like. High-energy people are already out there. They are waiting, watching, seeking. They will not be convinced by talk. They will not be swayed by appearance. They will be drawn by vibration. And your vibration is determined by your daily choices. Rise with purpose. Live with discipline. Guard your energy. Stand with resilience. Do this, and the people you seek will appear. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but by law. Gratitude is the secret current that multiplies energy. It is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is fuel. High-energy people are drawn to those who live in gratitude, because gratitude creates abundance where others see lack. It shifts the frequency of your spirit from scarcity to power. Napoleon Hill taught that. One of the most profound laws of the universe is that like attracts like. Gratitude is the highest form of like. When you are grateful, you vibrate in harmony with creation itself. You declare that life is already enough, already full, already abundant, and in that vibration, more is added unto you. High-energy people sense this instantly. They avoid the complainers, the victims, the ungrateful, because such people poison the well. But they lean toward those whose hearts radiate thankfulness, because gratitude sharpens vision, amplifies faith, and keeps the soul unbreakable. Think of Helen Keller, blind, deaf, cut off from the world of sound and sight. Yet her spirit overflowed with gratitude. She spoke of the beauty of life, the miracle of touch, the gift of friendship. She became a magnet, drawing teachers, allies, and audiences across the world. She attracted high-energy people not by lamenting what she lacked, but by amplifying what she had. Gratitude was her power. Gratitude also dissolves envy, and envy is a poison that kills connection. High-energy people do not envy because they understand that another's success does not diminish their own. Instead, they celebrate, and by celebrating, they attract even more success into their lives. If you wish to draw such people, you must learn to genuinely celebrate the victories of others. Do not clap with hollow hands. Do not smile with envy hidden behind your eyes. Celebrate as if their win is your win, because in the great network of energy it is. But gratitude alone is not enough. Gratitude must be married to adaptability. For no matter how strong your vision, no matter how fierce your discipline, life will strike with storms you did not predict. The path will twist, the road will collapse, and plans will crumble. In that moment, rigidity destroys. Adaptability saves. Look at Charles Darwin's insight. He wrote that survival does not belong to the strongest or the most intelligent, but to the most adaptable. Empires rise and fall on this truth. Businesses flourish or die on this truth. Families endure or collapse on this truth. High-energy people understand it deeply, which is why they are drawn to those who can bend without breaking. When Thomas Edison's laboratory burned to the ground in 1914, most men would have been ruined. But Edison looked at the fire consuming years of work and said, "Thank God all our mistakes were burned up. Now we can start fresh again." That is adaptability born of gratitude. That is energy so high it transforms disaster into opportunity. And because Edison carried that spirit, others rallied to him. His team rebuilt, his allies stood firm, and from the ashes rose even greater inventions. Adaptability is proof of inner strength. It shows that your purpose is not tied to circumstances, but anchored in something deeper. High-energy people trust those who can adapt because they know the journey of greatness is not smooth. It is jagged, unpredictable, wild. They do not seek companions who crumble when plans change. They seek those who can pivot, adjust, and still march forward with the same fire. And adaptability feeds resilience. For resilience is not just standing back up when you are knocked down, it is learning while you rise. It is refusing to repeat mistakes. It is extracting wisdom from pain and using it as fuel. High energy people thrive in circles where resilience is honored, where failure is not final, but a stepping stone. They will run from circles where weakness masquerades as complaint, where every obstacle becomes an excuse. Gratitude, adaptability, resilience. Together they form a trinity of attraction. They create a frequency so strong that high energy people cannot help but align with you, because you are not just a dreamer, you are a warrior of the spirit. You are not just chasing fortune, you are building character. You are not just surviving, you are thriving in the very storm that destroys others. But remember, gratitude without discipline is sentimentality. Adaptability without clarity is chaos. Resilience without purpose is stubbornness. Each quality strengthens the others. Together, they create a magnetic field so powerful that it reshapes your entire circle, your entire destiny. So the question becomes, what energy are you living in today? Are you carrying the bitterness of what you lack or the gratitude of what you have? Are you clinging to plans that are sinking or adapting to build a better ship? Are you letting failure define you or using it as the stone to sharpen your blade? Your answers determine not only your own path, but the caliber of people who will walk it with you. Because high energy people are not fooled by appearances. They sense vibration, they sense spirit, and they will either draw near or walk away, based on the energy you choose to carry. Learning is the oxygen of high energy people. They breathe growth. They thrive in environments where knowledge flows, where curiosity is honored, where humility allows wisdom to enter. If you want to attract such people, you must live as a student, not once in a while, but forever. The greatest leaders in history were insatiable learners. Abraham Lincoln, with little formal education, devoured books by candlelight until his words carried the weight of wisdom. Andrew Carnegie, though he built an empire of steel, admitted that his true fortune came from the knowledge he absorbed and the mentors he sought. Even Henry Ford, accused of being uneducated, famously said, "I am not the smartest, but I have the ability to surround myself with people smarter than me." That humility to learn, that hunger for growth, is why high energy allies stood with him. Learning does not only mean gathering information. It means evolving. It means being willing to question your assumptions, to dismantle your pride, to admit when you were wrong. Low energy people resist learning because it threatens their fragile egos. They cling to old beliefs, even when those beliefs chain them to failure. But high energy people embrace learning because it sharpens them. They are drawn to circles where ideas are exchanged like fire, where knowledge is not hoarded but multiplied. Ask yourself, do you create an atmosphere of learning in your life? Do you listen as much as you speak? Do you surround yourself with books, with mentors, with experiences that stretch your thinking? Or have you allowed comfort to calcify your mind? The answer determines who is willing to walk with you. But learning requires humility. And humility is the crown jewel of high-energy people. Without humility, learning becomes arrogance, and growth becomes stagnation. Humility is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is the awareness that no matter how much you know, there is still more to learn, still more to master, still more to refine. Napoleon Hill himself sat at the feet of giants. Edison, Carnegie, Rockefeller, asking questions, listening, absorbing. He did not presume to know more than the titans of industry. He humbled himself to learn. And in doing so, he gained insights that shaped generations. High-energy people are drawn to those who carry this same spirit. They are repelled by arrogance, by closed minds, by those who act as though they have already arrived. Consider the life of Socrates, who declared, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." This humility made him magnetic, even in his time. People gathered around him, eager to exchange ideas, to sharpen their minds against his questions. He did not preach from a pedestal, he engaged in dialogue, and by doing so, he built circles of high-energy thinkers that still influence the world today. Humility also builds trust. High-energy people know that pride blinds leaders, destroys alliances, and corrupts vision. But a humble spirit creates safety, creates respect, creates the space where growth can flourish. If you carry humility, you send a message as I am not here to dominate, I am here to grow. And that message pulls strong, disciplined souls into your orbit. Learning and humility, when united, create shared growth. And shared growth is the glue that binds high-energy people together. Think of the Wright brothers, two bicycle mechanics who dared to dream of flight. They were not alone, they grew together, each refining the other's ideas, each pushing the other higher. Shared growth made their vision take wings. Or look at Walt Disney and his brother Roy. Walt was the dreamer, the visionary. Roy was the strategist, the financier, the steady hand. Together, their shared growth created an empire that neither could have built alone. High-energy partnerships are born when both parties are committed to growth, not competition, not ego, but shared expansion. This is why you must not only learn for yourself, but create opportunities for others to grow alongside you. When you share wisdom, when you encourage, when you challenge those in your circle to rise higher, you deepen the bond. High-energy people will stay with you, not because you are perfect, but because they are becoming more in your presence. Do not fear those who surpass you. Celebrate them. Push them. Help them rise higher than yourself. For in doing so, you raise the entire circle. Andrew Carnegie once said he measured his success not by what he had, but by how many millionaires he created among his partners. That is the essence of high-energy alliance, shared growth that multiplies beyond individual ambition. But beware if you fear learning, if you resist humility, if you hoard wisdom for yourself, your circle will wither. High-energy people will leave because they cannot remain where growth is stifled. They seek fertile ground, not barren soil. They seek circles where every soul is expanding, where every mind is sharpening, where every spirit is rising. So ask yourself again, are you a fountain of growth or a stagnant pool? Do you attract people who hunger for wisdom, or do you repel them by clinging to arrogance and comfort? The answer is written in your daily choices. Whether you open a book or a screen of distraction, whether you listen or argue, whether you grow or stay the same, growth is not optional for those who seek greatness. It is the very air they breathe. And if you would breathe with them, if you would attract them into your life, you must commit to learning with humility forever and always. Faith is the final spark, the unseen power that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. You may build discipline, you may sharpen clarity, you may live with purpose and gratitude, but without faith, your energy collapses under the weight of doubt. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is the unwavering conviction that what you seek is already yours, that the future you envision is not a question but a certainty. Napoleon Hill called faith the starting point of all riches. Why? Because faith is energy in its purest form. Faith turns invisible thought into visible reality. Faith is the hand that reaches into the unseen and pulls possibility into the world of flesh and stone. High-energy people live by faith. They are not bound by appearances. They are not crippled by setbacks. They are not enslaved by fear. They carry an inner knowing that tomorrow bends to the force of belief. Look at the giants of history. Edison had faith when the world mocked his 1,000 failures. Ford had faith when they called his vision impossible. Disney had faith when his first studio collapsed in debt. Lincoln had faith when the Union tore itself apart. They did not attract powerful allies because they were lucky. They attracted them because faith radiated from their words, their eyes, their every action. High-energy people saw that faith and could not resist it. Faith is magnetic. It creates a field around you, invisible but undeniable. Walk into a room with doubt, and you repel the strong. Walk into a room with faith, and even the doubters lean closer. They cannot explain it, but they feel it, the certainty, the calm, the quiet fire of someone who knows where they are going. That is why the faithful attract high-energy souls, because faith is the highest energy of all. But faith is not enough until it becomes action. Action is faith made flesh. Action is belief walking, breathing, building. When you step boldly, when you move without hesitation, when you act in alignment with your vision, you declare to the world, I believe. And the world responds, opportunities appear, allies gather, resources flow. The law of life cannot resist one who acts with faith. This is the final test to live as though your dream is already here, to walk as though the mountain is already climbed, to speak as though the vision is already built, to act as though the victory is already won. High-energy people see that spirit, and they know. They know this is someone worth following, worth partnering with, worth fighting beside. And when they come, when you attract these souls of fire into your life, your energy multiplies. One flame becomes 10. 10 become 100. A mastermind is born, and in that sacred alliance, the impossible becomes inevitable. The dreamer becomes a builder. The builder becomes a leader. The leader becomes a legend. Do not underestimate this. Your circle will decide your destiny. Walk with the weak, and you will inherit weakness. Walk with the fearful, and fear will devour you. Walk with the high energy, the faithful, the disciplined, the grateful, the resilient, and greatness will mark your life. You will not have to force it. You will not have to beg for it. You will not even have to chase it. It will come because you have aligned yourself with the very law of creation. So I leave you with this challenge: become magnetic, become disciplined, become grateful, become adaptable, become resilient, become humble, become faithful. Live these truths so fiercely that your very presence becomes a beacon, that high energy people feel compelled to join you, that your life itself becomes proof of Napoleon Hill's eternal law, that thought, when fused with faith and action, becomes unstoppable power. Stand tall, radiate your vision, guard your energy, walk with conviction. For when you do, the people you have been searching for will arrive. They will stand beside you, they will lift you, they will sharpen you, and together you will forge a destiny that echoes through time. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the secret: attract high energy people into your life, and you will never walk small again.